maybe 2 weeks. All
Let me
right. I think
know.
hopefully we're coming through.
Hopefully. I know there's like a delay or something, but it's okay.
I'm gonna go on my phone and see if I can't
All right,
see
I'll
if we
just
have,
stare at you going on your phone.
right? Oh my goodness. Okay. Give a couple, like a minute or two.
Okay.
Oh, I guess we could take. I'll just take a picture and be like, we're live. We're live on NBC.
I like had to finish my dinner real quick. I was like, dinner time right here. Sure, they don't want me to see my dinner, so I'm like, okay. And then I keep having to shoo my kids away. I'm like, I've told them 20 times to stay in your room. And they're like, are you live, Mom?
My son's just like, Mom, what's that noise? I'm like, honey, it's, I don't know, the water heater? Because I just took a shower. like, oh, that sound. Like, oh, well, that's the snowplow, honey. uh,
All right.
all right, so I think we got, all right, so let me post something.
So what are you reading?
I am currently reading, and gosh darn it, I put my Kindle over there. I'm reading The Crown of Gilded Bones. I'm 70% through. I don't know why it's been taking me like a week to finish it. But it's the
Oh
third
man.
one from Blood and Ash. I started it this month and I was just like, whoop, I want to read every single one
You know what?
right now.
I've only seen the first one because hi Morgan. Morgan's here.
Hi.
I've only read the first one. And I was like, that one was too long. And I have the second one, and I'm just like,
The
I don't
second one
want
was
to
my
start
favorite.
that yet.
It's so good. That second one was really good. I enjoyed it. The third one, I could see where people are saying it's a little repetitive, but right now the pacing's a little slower.
Mm.
And that's what gets it. Right now, I'm just like, okay, let's just get to the action. We know something's going to happen. Now I'm 70% way through.
Yeah.
Like, come on. But yeah, yeah.
Well, I am
But
reading Hold by Claire Kent. It is
the post-apocalyptic thing.
yeah, no, well, it's definitely sci-fi, but it doesn't feel sci-fi. So she is arrested, and in this world, a thief is treated the same as a murderer. So she goes to prison, and it's a prison on another planet that you can't escape from. So
Oh goodness.
as she's going into the hold of the prison place, the guard tells her to hook yourself up to the baddest guy there, and that's the only way you're going to survive. So that's kind of what the whole thing is about. She, gives
Isn't that
herself
like
for protection.
isn't that what they say like in prison?
What?
Isn't that what they say
No,
like in
really?
prison? Like
I've never been to prison, so I don't know.
all I know is like the Orange is the New Black as a reference and
True, I have watched that. Seems like you should do the same thing. Yeah, I'm like halfway through. It's really good.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh goodness. Um,
So I had a lot of fun with this book. Love Only One.
yeah, so what did you rate the book?
I'm having a hard time rating it.
I'm like I've made a decision that I think I'm gonna rate it as a 3.
You're gonna rate it as a 3?
I don't remember it being one of my favorites when I read it. I think I want to say Gentle Rogue was probably one of my favorite, and then I want to say, oh gosh, it's one of the later ones. I think was one of my favorites as well. Something about the scoundrel or loving scoundrel or something that
Mm-hmm.
I can remember. I mean, it's been 10 years, so but I don't know. It
Mm.
feels like you can tell it's like the first in the series, like they're setting up. I think my favorite part was when she gets in the middle when she gets kidnapped by her
There
uncle
was so much
unknowingly.
kidnapping.
You get kidnapped and you get
You
kidnapped.
get kidnapped.
We all get kidnapped.
There was so much kidnapping.
But
I
no, I
think that's
think
one
part
of
of
the things. I think that's one of
Yeah.
the things I put in my notes. I was like, oh my God, does everybody get kidnapped in this book?
Oh, that's
I think
funny.
I'm gonna settle on a 4 just because I did have a lot of fun reading it. I have a lot of
Hmm.
problems with it, but I think none of them are like too bad to where like I hated the book at all. There's just like they're all like minor things and things that I would expect from an older novel too. So I
Yeah.
don't know. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't I mean I know you know, but I love a good like shenanigan and a hijinks. And this book does have a lot of those.
Bonkers, I think somebody like I think just from Peace of Book says it a lot is like a bonkers plot.
It is a little bonkers. And it's, I love a snappy plot too. And this is like there something happens all the time. I think at like halfway, I was just like, oh, what? What? Every chapter. I was like, Jesus. Then I started really like just writing things down. In fact, I was
Yeah,
like,
I think yeah, if I gave half stars, I would give probably a 3.5, but I usually kind of stay make it try to simplify it for me, but to do like 5, the whole star system for me, the whole star system.
I have
But
no
yeah, it's
context for a half a star. Like I'm either a 3 or a 4. I just don't know what a
I
half
know
a star would be.
I'm like it's already hard enough to try to determine what makes a 5 star and 4 star, and like there's even some that go 6 stars. So I'm like, I don't know how I can't. My brain can't. There's too many choices. I'm going to panic and freeze and can't make a decision. So
I'm just like yeah, exactly. I just have to like decide and then I'm sticking with it. I'm not going to change my mind anymore.
so yeah, so
So
like I think it's like where it's okay and I liked it, but it wasn't. I didn't really like it, and then and
mhm.
there's like 1 or 2 parts of the book that I really loved, and I think it was just I felt more telling than showing, and there wasn't really connection with the main character. Cause like he's gone half the time and most of the book anyway.
I okay, I didn't like the hero at all. Like I don't like him at all.
Oh, I didn't like him
Period.
either. No. Mm-mm.
But what I liked was like the meet cute thing. I loved the light kidnapping. Like that was
The
really
light
cute.
kidnapping, just
It
a
was
little
like a very
kidnapping.
light, like, just a little bit of a kidnap. And then he kind of very quickly realizes, oh crap, I got the wrong woman. And then when he goes back there, she's like just in jest. She's like, she writes it off really quickly. She forgives a lot. She forgives a lot in this book. And yeah, when they get married, he like just leaves for months. Months. That's crazy. And there was just no, like, he wasn't mad about it at all. She wasn't mad about it at all. That was nuts for me. I
Yeah,
do love that. I think this was when I texted you or DM'd you the surprise baby. I was like, what?
I know.
I didn't see that coming. I should have because hello, they obviously had sex in the garden, but like, I just didn't see that coming for
That
some
was
reason.
so random too
It
for the
it
first
was
time.
random. I think that's what I liked
So
most about this. Like a lot of the situations are random. Very like her getting kidnapped again by God knows who, and then her uncle turning up to be the pirate. Like it was just one after another. Oh my gosh. I have so many notes.
how
Okay.
did he like I guess that's like the whole thing. I'm like, how did okay, you do it one time, but then there's like I didn't feel any other like tension or any kind of thing after that. It felt very mechanical.
It did. And I can't believe they got fully naked in the garden. I like at somebody
I know,
else's
I'm like,
house.
at our
It wasn't
house, was it a house party or a ball or what was it?
it wasn't even their house. It was like an aunt's house or something.
Dang.
Fully naked.
We got some exhibitionist thing going on.
That's what I wrote. One of my tropes was like public sex. Whoa. Oh my God. Yeah. He left for 7 months, is what they said in the book. Like he just goes to
Yeah.
another country. Oh, I love the uncle obsessed with duels. Do you
Oh,
remember
I
that?
think he's in the second one, I think. Anthony?
Like, yeah, I think so. The one that's
He
just like
wanted
always wanting to duel somebody.
he wanted to duel him. Was it and him? He wanted to duel him because of her honor or something like that.
Yeah, the first
Yeah.
time with her honor, and then when he sees her hickey,
He's a
oh, you
love
should
bite.
cover that up. He just wants to duel somebody. He's looking for a reason.
It's a love bite.
A love bite, or whatever. It's a hickey. He loves a good hickey in
That's
this.
what they
Like,
called it. I'm like,
oh my gosh. I love also when she very nonchalantly tells him he has a son. Like she's just like, I'm gonna go take care of my child now. Leaves the room. And he's
and he's
just
just
like,
standing there like, what?
what? Like that's I love those bits of the book that were so random about it. And I love because I love being a little surprised about something like or I'm not expecting it. And because it just makes it fun for me. So those are like my favorite parts of it, just like where she just randomly says stuff. And I do like how like she is kind of a headstrong character and where she tries not to let what he says affect her because she wants to be strong.
Yeah, oh yeah, she's one of those that she has like her ankles wrapped around her finger and she knows it, and it's so kind of funny. And she uses those skills to like handle what is
Handle
it? Is his name
everything.
Is his name Nicholas?
Yeah, Nicholas.
Nicholas, yeah. Because she's Regina, right?
Yeah, Regina. Reggie. She had so many names.
Reggie, yeah. And depending on who the uncle was, they called him like Reagan or Regan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was crazy. So what didn't you like about the book?
Yeah, I would say it was the especially like the whole like how he was acting before he even left. It was a lot of just telling, which I understand there's some of those transitions you don't need to show anything, but I think like a lot of the times there wasn't really any interactions or besides the few that we got, there wasn't really much interactions between them and banter because I didn't believe the connection, like their romance. I really didn't. It felt forced,
Mm-hmm.
and then the show in the telling versus showing kind of a thing. So like you really couldn't. Yeah, I think that's kind of what it was. Like the showing, the telling versus the showing,
Mm-hmm.
and then not believing the characters for that. And then I did not like him.
I did not like him.
Like, and he also had like, and maybe that's part of why I didn't believe the connection either, because like he just felt very surface level character as well. Kind
Mm-hmm.
of, but at the same time, the pace was kind of, it was a good pace in the book as well at the same time. But yeah, it's one of those earlier works of Johanna Lindsey's, I think, and it's like I think hers is one of those that are like hit or misses for me.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, I really didn't like the scene where he comes back home and is drunk and aggressive with her. And, I expected that to be a grovel moment where, like, okay, that happened. And now he really has to grovel to get her back. And there was nothing. Like, she was just like, oh, okay, I guess you love me then. And that's it. I was so like, at that point I was like, ugh, like I wanted that grovel so bad because he had been gone for 7 months. He basically treated her like crap. Like honestly, the entire time.
It's like, do
Like
you even like her?
what was even appealing about him other than his money? Like, you know what I mean? There's just nothing there. What else is there?
He
Oh,
looked good. He had nice tan.
yeah. And then there was like a gaslighting moment when they were having his ex mistresses over and she tried to kick the mistress out and he's like, oh, you're crazy, whatever he said.
I know, I
And
hate
then
that.
yeah, she finally got upset because his mistresses were at this party that his mom, I think it was like his mom
It
threw.
well, you
His
found out
mom
that
invited her.
she wasn't really his mom,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
why she was like the villain in the story because of that. So
yeah. I also didn't like his real mom either.
she
I didn't.
felt a little airy, so to speak.
There was some. There's some language issues that I had with her about the way she talked about possibly getting rid of the baby, which I did not like. And then I had one of the there. So I read this on audiobook, and I think the narrator did a really great job at switching up the voices. But there are so many characters in this, like between the staff and her uncles. There's like two or three of them, and then her friends, and then the moms, and there is
The guys
just
that kidnap her.
the guys that kidnap her. They all have a role in here. They're not just like some dude kidnaps her. They're like people she knows, or they don't know her really, but
Oh, it's
it
funny
was
that he
hard
got
to keep
left
track.
out by the carriage.
Yeah.
He got left. He got left at the carriage. I'm like, that's funny. I don't know. I thought that was funny. Like that's not cool, but I'm like, for some reason, because I didn't like him, I was like, that's
Yeah.
funny. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that was another thing that I didn't like. There was just so many characters. I loved her family, like the family, the Mallorys, a
yeah, it's not
lot.
called found family because like they're already family, but I feel like that's the kind of it's like the Bridgerton feeling. I don't know how else you call it, but it's like that they're already family, but I know found family is usually for those who create their own family of like friends that are in such as a trope. But yeah, I
Yeah,
love that kind of it feels very comforting, very like heartwarming kind of a thing. And that makes I love banter, so like that makes it opportunities for more banter interaction.
yeah,
So I love that.
yeah. I did really like the her family a lot. So I'm glad. Like, is the next book following her family? Is that what's going on?
It's Anthony's book, I
Okay,
think. Is
and that
the
was one of the uncles. Okay.
Yeah,
See
Anthony
when
is the one that she was closest to. And I think closest to an age as well.
Oh, I'm imagining these uncles being super old.
They're like in their 30s, I want to say most of them are probably 30s,
Oh gosh.
40s. Probably
Okay.
the oldest is probably 40 or something close to 40.
See, I'm thinking
But
of like a 60-year-old uncle pirate. I don't know
we
why.
we had to think of it back in those times, like her mom had her so young, probably
Oh,
when
that's
she was like
true.
17 or 18, that like it kind of naturally progresses to that kind of thing.
Oh,
I
that's
think there's
true.
only four brothers. So yeah. There's five
Yeah, I
kids,
think you're
four
right.
the mom was a sister. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, you know what? One other scene that I loved. I have to mention this because it was like I wish somebody did that for me, which was kind of weird, but when she's passed out, which we're not going to talk about, when she's passed out drunk because he got her drunk and she needs to breastfeed the baby and he like just plops the baby on there and lets her sleep. I was like, I wish somebody did that for me. I couldn't imagine somebody just letting me sleep and they're like just holding the baby right there. I'm like, that's the most awesome thing I've ever heard in my life.
I actually with my son and my daughter, I think I think my husband actually did that for me. He
Did
just he'll
he?
bring the baby. Yeah, my husband's great. He's a stay-at-home dad, and he like even before that, he's very he's actually really involved. So and I
Mine
think
is
when I
too. Mine's
was
a stay-at-home dad too.
yeah,
And
and sorry, go ahead.
he just brought me snacks and water. How rude. He brought me the baby and snacks and water.
Oh my God,
I
that's
mean,
so
we traded
cute.
off. We traded off because sometimes I would supplement and I'm like, you take it this time. I'm too
I
tired.
was so thankful when that finally happened. Like, I can get a break.
Exactly, exactly. So I loved that scene in the book because I was just like, this is the only moment that has been redeeming for him, even though he got her drunk to like have sex with her. But like it was at least something redeeming. It was the only quality I liked about him. And then he did that whole
Yeah.
other scene, and it was like all taken away. It's just like that. But I love that she didn't even know she woke up in the middle of the night. She was like, the baby didn't come to me.
Well, that's the other thing too, which I kind of was felt a little iffy about, is when he got her drunk and they had
Yes.
fun times, and she
Yeah.
didn't remember about that. I'm like, that's a little bit iffy on the consent kind of side,
I
like where she's just
know.
like, did that happen? Did it?
That's what I'm always scared of with these vintage novels because I cannot do non-consent. Like it just really I don't like it. So I'm always like hesitant to start some of these old historicals because I know like they can be like that. And that's,
They're bodice,
you know,
yeah, it's full bodice ripper kind of a thing, but kind of
yeah.
under, it's kind of an illusion like the Rhett and Scarlet, where you just like it's part of their what makes them a couple is like that's kind of that whole the passion. Apparently, it was kind of evoke that or convey that passion, I think. But
Right.
that's what I loved about it too. Like even when I was first introduced to in historical romance was just that whole all the drama and the bonkers and just like the swoon and everything and all that and especially the banter. I'm like, if I can laugh, and like you can take all those emotions in a book for me. That's like still have a good time as well with the plot and everything. I'm like, that's gold.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think
This
it's
was real
yeah,
fun.
yeah. You have to
It
take it
was.
with
It was fun.
you have to take anything between like I think before 2000s you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, even contemporary romances now.
Hmm.
um I think it's that kind of a way, but I do like dark romances still. um but I don't like it too dark. There's but I don't know,
Yeah. Even
it's kind of funny though.
yeah.
Like how do you, I'm like, wait, am I, do I like this? Am I
I why is that one okay? Like why is it bad for a love only once, but yet the book I'm currently reading, Hold, there's like just like non-consent all over the place or
well,
coerced consent, you know, where she's coerced into these situations, but yet that's okay. So it's just
well
like
is the relate for me maybe it's because if I believe that they have a connection and chemistry, then for me I think maybe it makes it like it's believable. But when I feel like it feels very like not authentic or things like that with their relationship, that also kind of puts it as a, it's like a turn off already. So
yeah.
then when you already do something that's already kind of iffy, if a writer can do it right,
Hmm.
and then it's weird how certain authors can make things that you normally would be like not okay in real life, but in fiction it's great. Like Kiwi Tyler for contemporary, she does great taboo, forbidden. She can make me like things that like cheating romances that I would never thought I would like, because obviously I'm like that's just not cool in real life. But I'm like, but I don't know, she could do it.
It's cool in a book.
She with her writing it works, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, and then you have that barrier of it being fiction. It's not real. So you know, you have just kind of like a safe space for exploring these type of things in a different environment. So yeah.
Star comment. How do I put
I think you just
comments? How do I put comments on the screen?
I think you just click it. I know that's not helpful.
Ah, I'm trying to figure this out. Let me go back to
There I go.
oh, there it
I
is.
tapped it.
Ah, what'd you tap? You just tap it?
Yeah, I just tapped it.
Okay,
My touchscreen.
awesome. If you're watching, thanks for being patient and learning.
We're still
I'm
figuring
learning.
out this live thing a little
It's,
bit.
it's a whole new
So
world over here.
it is. I
So
agree.
Lovely Reading says that for me it's okay in dark romance because normally the hero isn't a good person, but within a standard setting it doesn't work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The morally gray, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah, and in a different setting it works, but whereas a normal one it doesn't. I agree.
Definitely.
Yeah. What is the next book? Tender Rebel?
Yeah.
I think that's
The
the next
next
one.
I believe it is. Let me
I'm not reading any synopsises for these. Synopses for these
blurb.
books. Blurb?
Blurred.
Notes? Notes?
Note
I'm
taking.
just gonna start
Um,
reading them.
yeah, Tender Rebel.
Okay, okay.
But it is Anthony's book, Anthony Mallory.
And have
Let
you read this?
me
Have you read all of these?
I've read quite a few and I don't remember. This is part of where I started reading this and when I went like, oh yeah, I did read this. I'm like, I do remember this now. I'm like, because it's been
Years.
15, I don't want to age myself, but yeah. I think, I started reading this when I was, middle school, probably.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just started reading in 2018, so I was already well an adult. But
It definitely shaped me as a reader. Let's just say historical romance. Like, it was definitely like, oh my gosh, it was just a good escape and that kind of thing. So I
mhm.
still read my regular kind of books, but like, it was my first foray into romance,
Oh man. You know
really.
what? I learned today so I didn't start reading historicals till like a couple years ago, but my grandmother was a huge historical romance reader. Like she had thousands of books.
Hmm.
We always like it was a big thing in the family. Oh, grandma and her books, you know. But my mom said that, I was telling her about this book and she's like, "Oh yeah, I think grandma had all of those." I was like, "Dang it." Because my grandmother passed away a few years ago and she had Alzheimer's and we had cleaned up her house years ago and all the books went to donation or the landfill because there was just thousands of them and now I'm like kicking myself that I wasn't a historical romance reader when we still had them because I would have had all of them.
Oh yeah, I've like this is all from like library sales, and I have like a few from bookstores, and I got couple from thrift books or a couple from half price books.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, oh gosh, I think I even got one. When I first started buying historicals a couple of years ago, I got my first one at like Books a Million again. But like I would always get it from the library, and like this was before social media and
Yeah.
really on phones on internets on our phones, but I definitely just had to look at the pages on the book to figure out what one was the next one in the front and then in the back because they talked about the next one. Yeah, that was the way I had to figure out. And I kept on checking out Bridgerton multiple times, and then I finally, when I was in college, I just got the set, but it's the edition that doesn't have the step backs, unfortunately.
Mm.
So I read those at least 5 times or more since I've owned them
Oh.
again. So I've read those books like so many so many times.
Morgan, what was your first Lisa Kleypas? Because I have only read, I think, the Wallflowers Lisa Kleypas books, and I think the first of the Ravenels. Is it the Ravenels or the Ravenels? I don't know.
I
I've
think it's
only read a
Ravenels.
few of Lisa Kleypas books. Honestly, I love Sarah McLean. That's the only one I've read the most of, probably. And then, random ones like Erica Ridley and Diana Quincy. But all of my authors are very much newer, like the ones that I read. So then jumping back to like Johanna Lindsey, like like I can kind of see where like authors like Sarah McLean and Lisa Kleypas got some inspiration from her from these bonkers plots or the like very action oriented snappy plots. Like I was thinking about some of the things that Sarah would do in while reading this book. So I love those kind of nods back to each other that I could kind of pick up on. Devil in
It's so
Winter. Oh my gosh, yes, I
yes.
love that book. How
My
can you not love that book? Like I love that book.
Again, The Magic was the one I think that I read multiple times, and that was the first one I picked up. I think I bought it on like my Kindle like past couple of years when I started reading again a lot. um, I, that was the first one where I tried to remember what the book was called. I knew it was by Lisa Kleypas, but yeah, like that was like a number. That's like a what do you call a 6 star, like a all time fave book.
Mhm.
Again, The Magic, but Devil in Winter. That is. That's a really good one too. Sebastian, I believe.
Oh yeah, he's a top tier, god tier hero for sure.
Talk about morally gray, and he gets his redemption here in Devil Winter.
I know. Did you read that book without reading the first one? Because I read them in order, and I was like, I definitely think you have to. Like, you just have to. It doesn't have the
This
same
this
feel.
time, yeah, this time I did, but I think initially, probably when I read it, I'm pretty sure I read Again the Magic first, but I think I read Devil in Winter years ago first, and
Hmm.
then once I realized it's part of the series, I probably reread it again in order because that's just my personality. Like, okay, once I realize I read something out of order and it's probably better to read it in order, I have to do. Like, I
Yeah,
can't continue on. I have to start over again.
I know. I always, maybe it's like the fantasy reader in me, but I always feel like I have to read them in order. Like, even though I know a lot of them
Exactly.
you don't have to, but I have this thing where like I have to read the first one and then I can read the others.
Exactly.
I think the first
But
one also just sets the scene a lot. So,
yeah. And I think, although it depends, if it's a standalone, like you just read one that the tropes that call to you, I think. But if it's not really necessary, because then if you read their earlier works and it's been quite a bit of years in between, you might end up not liking that author and have a bad first impression. Where sometimes it's a good to have a certain book in the series.
yeah,
Let
yeah.
me see here.
Now, would you say, the first time?
Yeah, we were right.
And here I was, little me, not even knowing these existed when I was 15. I always got headaches reading, so I never liked to read at all. I loved
Mm.
movies and stuff like that and plays and things, but I just couldn't read. And I didn't know what an audiobook was. Did they have them then? Those are the things you checked out from the library.
In the big, like, cause yeah, because CDs and
The VHS.
such a thing.
I'm gonna
Oh,
start dating myself.
there were 7 people in our house, so normally it was very likely that you're lucky if you're able to watch television or your show. As you know, kids are to be seen and not heard in our house growing up. But
Yeah.
so I would just read, and then like you could tell it's a romance. I'm like, these had cover lust covers. My parents didn't really pay attention. Which is, I don't know. I guess it's sad or happy. I don't know how you would take that, but yeah, that's reading attention. Like, okay,
See,
there's like 4 adults in this house that's not paying. Okay, I'm okay.
even my grandma, I mean, she never hid her books from us, but I guess I just didn't even look at it because I was more like, Grandma, pay attention. I'm trying to ask you if I can have a snack.
Okay, read Marcus's
Wait,
book because
who's Marcus? Which one? Is this another in
it's
Joanna Lindsey's
probably
books?
no. I can't remember which one Marcus is.
I can't remember Marcus. I'm so bad at names for all these people.
Unless it's like an all-time fave, I probably like will forget their names probably less than a week after, which makes my
Yeah,
reviews
basically
probably very helpful.
Sebastian St. Vincent and Rysand. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was same way. I was super scared of my own shadow growing up. So
Oh, really?
oh
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay, okay,
so
okay. Yeah,
books were
yeah.
my escape. So I'm like, and I was so introverted. So I was like, and I was totally like not the odd kid out because I was also part of a blended family. So it's
Mhm.
like everybody's living on the farm country, and I'm like I just want to be back in a city where it's comfortable.
Yeah, I'm from a little town too, but it's like everybody already knew you. So I mean I also shy, but one-on-one I'm really good. Like one-on-one I'm fine. But I have such a big family. All my cousins are the same age, so we just always played with our family. So I never felt like totally shy, I guess I would say. I was a band geek too. In high school, like I found my people in band and then I was good.
Oh, I was the choir and theater girl geek.
Oh, see?
I always wanted to be in band, but I couldn't play an instrument.
I
And
hated it. I play the flute and I hated playing the flute. In fact, I probably faked it a few times in a few marching band sessions, but I wanted to go on all the field trips. So I stuck with it.
Hey, apparently you learned things from at least the band at my high school. Apparently band was the things that you learned things about life.
I heard that, but I don't know what high schools these people are
Like
going to. What
like American Pie,
mine?
like apparently you learn a lot of things on these buses when they're going on these trips to their school. I'm like, geez,
Maybe
okay.
maybe if I read more Johanna Lindsey, I would have known about those things.
Plus these like were really small country towns, so
Yeah,
what
same
else is
here.
there really to do?
Yeah, exactly. True, true.
But I think my other favorite was like I read a lot of Julie Garwood's backlist, and Christina Dodd, Eloisa James, and I want to say uh Sandra Brown a little bit. So that got me into a little bit of suspense, romantic suspense a little bit too as well. And then
Mm,
obviously I think then Nora Roberts too as well.
mm,
But yeah, I just basically would go into the library aisle, the romance, and just peruse and look at the little blurbs and see if it intrigued me or not, or if I want to be like, ooh, I want to finally it's in there because somebody else checked out a book.
mm.
I was out of luck, so I had to like I didn't know you could reserve books, and I was afraid to talk to the librarian, even though she was really nice.
The city library, right? Not your school library. See, that's how I
Oh
was like,
no,
it's
no,
the
city
school
library.
library. I was
The
like,
school
dang,
really
you have
didn't have.
romances?
I guess the school did have a library, but I didn't really. I would check out a lot of the school related works there, like that we had to read there, or
Yeah.
like the theater play script, the scripts for like the theater plays and things like that,
Oh, yeah.
or like history stuff. So when I learned about Anastasia, like I remember reading like an actual historical book to read about Anastasia and that kind of stuff. So
Hmm.
it's I was a little bit of a geek. So
Speaking of theater, and then I'm gonna like cycle into like movies and TV. I do think this book would be great for TV or a movie. Like just because of all the
really,
things going on, like I could very visually see it. Like and like you said, like a Bridgerton type thing. But like the kind of bonkersness that goes on with it is I think they could modernize it a little bit to where he's not such a trashy person. He's not just like a terrible person.
yeah, yeah.
And if they modernized him and his reactions to things, I think this really would make for great TV. Like I would watch it.
Be another Bridgerton series. You can have a couple and actually stick to the main plot points for the most
But
part.
with secret babies and pirates
Like, what else do you really need to change it up? But I'm like,
and maybe keep your clothes on when you're in the garden. Okay? You flip the
it's a little bit.
skirts.
Well, they did that in season 2 of Bridgerton. I'm like, they're full out of the gazebo, and I think they were in the gazebo too, and that's why
Yeah.
they're totally hidden, and that's why they were totally buck
Mm.
naked or whatever. So I'm
But
like,
they
I
were
don't
in a
understand.
rainstorm.
Yeah, they
I
were.
don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know. I'm like, how the? I guess maybe I'm a little too. Although I do, which is ironic because for me, like personally, I would feel like, that's a lot of risk. But at the same time, I'm like, that's what I loved about these historical romances, especially ones like the clandestine meetings and like the garden and things like that, and that the different settings that they could have their interactions with each other, whether it's speaking or steamy times. But I'm like,
Yeah.
that's what's interesting to read about.
It is because it is the sneaking, like the whole sneaking around thing that you're like they're going to be discovered at any minute, and then somehow they don't. Well, they did get
or
discovered, didn't
or
they?
or somehow they had to have a marriage of convenience because somebody saw them.
Yeah, because somebody saw them talking. They were just like that's the whole reason they got married because somebody saw them talking, or she went to his house for more than 5 minutes or something like.
Well, it was the kidnapping when that's why that Anthony wanted to take him to duel was because he kidnapped her, like, but she was alone with him within an hour, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if nothing happened, it's implied because you were unchaperoned or whatever. So
Yeah.
like I think you could get like have to be forced to marry if you were saw like just by yourself somewhere in like
Yeah.
the garden and even at a public place and no one even yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I'm so jealous that y'all find books for 25 cents because I cannot. Even my
Library
library is a
book
dollar.
sales.
Even my library is a dollar.
So it depends. Well, I have quite a few libraries over here, and they actually have like some of them, like a couple of them, like standing, like actual hours. The one that my favorite, it's like has usually the better quality of books. Well, depends on it, but at least
Mhm.
historical romances, those are usually in a better state. Those are 25 cents. But if I
Hmm.
go to another one, um, they're like $1.
Hmm.
And in some cases, I think if you want like a paperback now, they upped their like the actual book now. I think it's like $2 or $3 now.
Yeah,
She's like that was 15 years ago.
oh, okay, okay.
You know,
Well, I
inflation.
just watched Bee's vlog from Mama Reads Romance, and she went to a library sale, and all of them were like a quarter, and I was so jealous. I was like, I want that. My libraries don't have big stores, and during COVID, they stopped taking books in. Like they literally stopped taking books in. So there's just nothing there. I've gone so many times. So
Hmm.
it's all right.
Yeah, if I was back in my hometown, growing up, there was no that I know of. The only way to get thrift books would be for garage sales or something. Would be the only
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
that I know of. Yeah.
I know. I've been to a lot of the garage sales around here and none of them have romance books. How rude. It's always like James Patterson or whatever.
And Danielle
Whatever.
Steele, and I'm like, I guess
Yeah.
she's romance too, but I'm like, maybe I need
Yeah.
to read
Danielle
one of these. I'm
Steele.
like, why is everyone reading them? Why is Danielle Steele like? There's always so much of them.
I know. Although I do have one, I found one good thrift store around town. It's like an indie bookstore. And
Oh,
it's actually in the town over, so it's like 30 minutes away from me. But she has a really big romance section, and the owner is a romance reader too. And I really I went there. I made my husband take me there, buy me books for my birthday, and I was in there for a good like 40 minutes, like just roaming around. I loved it, and they were like $3 and $4, but I'll pay for $3 and $4 to an indie business, like a local owned business. So
oh yeah.
that's where
If
I
I
get all my
can,
Johanna Lindsey's from, is from her store.
right? There you go. If I can just get, that's my favorite thing to do is like my husband knows if I'm going to the library. I'm like, oh, I'm going to the library. He's like, are you going to the library? Or are you going to the library? Because he's like, which one is it really? Are you going into
Yeah.
the thrift store library? So like sometimes, and I'll do both. I'm like, both. And I'll like make a whole day of it where I would go to multiple ones and go to my favorite one first and then go to the others and then another day then go to half price books and then go to
Yeah.
that's usually where I like to get I usually like to get the historicals there, specific ones,
Mm.
um but yeah, but the newer ones like typically like Sarah McLean and such, usually I had to buy new and that kind of thing. So,
Mm.
which not
Yeah.
too bad.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I do buy a lot of my new, like especially new releases. I like to buy them just because, like honestly, for new releases, they're so cheap. The mass markets, like
For the mass, oh, that's why I love those, especially for historical romance. I'm like, they're like not that much, so they're you
I
can
get
get
them at
more, you can get like
Walmart.
three.
My Walmart
Me,
has a really good selection, and they're like 6.74.
yeah, my Target and Walmart have a good selection. Target doesn't have good historicals, but Walmart usually has at least a shelf or two.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. My Walmart has like a shelf for the Harlequins, like just a whole like section, and then next to that is like a whole section of historicals. It's crazy. Yeah. So, do you have all of the the Mallory books? Do you have all of those?
Not all of them. I think I have at least the first three, and maybe I know I have like the Christmas one. It's like Christmas is in the title. I think one or two. So I want to say I have maybe half of the 12.
Okay.
Um, but I'm gonna try to see if I can't find them somewhere when I get my book bind band done. Probably in
Yeah.
mid-March is when I'll probably cave and be like, okay, I need to go library book sailing, and and then go to like an actual and go to the book sales or just bookstores around or whatever and just see if I can't find it. Otherwise, I'll probably just order off of thrift books or
Pingo.
yeah, was it Pingo?
I think I ordered some through Pingo Books.
I never
Yeah.
heard of that. I'll have
It's
to
just
try
like
that.
you're buying from an individual person, so shipping can get kind of crazy, but I don't know
So
if
if you're
it's
buying
something you're
more
really
than
looking
one,
for.
yeah.
Yeah. I
I
think
will.
I bought a few on there and it was like $1 for the book and then like $4 for shipping. So $5, I mean,
yeah. I
it's
would be
fine.
interested to try those. I think it's on eBay or Etsy as well. You can get like a mix of like a lot apparently of
Oh
books.
yeah.
So I'm interested in trying one of those.
Yeah. I'm not quite there yet. I only have, well, these two shelves are like the other
Oh yeah,
books.
this is getting full, but
Yeah. I only have the shelf in my bedroom is only 3 shelves and like one of them's already full. So like trying not to buy all the books.
I know,
But I
right?
definitely want the Johanna Lindsey's because I love the covers. I only have Gentle Rogue in this series. But I think
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna read them all in audiobook because they're all in script. So
yeah, this
I
is
did
the
really enjoy the audiobook. Like the narrator does a really good job.
yeah, this is the next one. See,
I
I was
love
able
that
to
color.
find these at the one actually in my city, and it's a really smaller. They only have like a book sales every maybe 3 times a year or so, and
Oh,
I don't know. I lucked out. I got so many of these, and I got like some Julie Garwood, and it's just crazy how I was able to find these hardcover.
yeah,
But
that's pretty.
yeah, but yeah. So I just basically because I'm weird. It's probably unpopular opinion, but I usually like to read it with the book but dust jacket on. But
Oh,
this one I
really?
took them off. But this one I took them off because it's a lot older. So I usually just take it off because I don't want to. It's definitely an old book.
Yeah. I don't know what Better
So
World Books is, but I will definitely have to check that out. So I don't
okay,
know
so
if I've ever heard that.
Pango Books and
Panga
Better
Book
World.
and
Oh,
Better World Book.
guys, you guys are feeding my habit.
A
Oh
book
yeah.
lover will never tell another book lover not to get the books. Get all the books. If you're looking for self-control, it is not here. It's not with this person.
Oh,
Okay, thank you.
thanks. Is your name Morgan, right? Or is it
Yeah,
Lee
Morgan
or Lay? Okay, sorry.
Lee.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
Morgan.
love it. I love the cool name, but like the really ingenious names. Like awesome. Like you're happily ever April.
I tried to be H-E April, okay? Somebody
Yeah, no one, someone took
already
it.
took it on Instagram and she doesn't do anything with that account, but yet she took it. How rude. How rude, April.
Yeah, when I first started like mine, I tried to search for one that was all over most of the channels, so like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And I was like, okay, what would best represent something that like I know is not just romance, but like other stories that I will be like to be interested. And I'm like, okay, Ever After is like my favorite movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's probably really common with what's her name? What's the actress?
Oh, Drew Barrymore.
Oh,
Drew
Drew
Barrymore? Is it that
Barrymore.
one? Yeah.
I love that movie. I have watched
Yeah.
that so many times. And I'm like, and books, and I'm like, well, Happily Ever After. So I'm like, well, books forever after. So I'm like, that's totally how I came up with that. And then
Morgan,
on my
Morgan. Oh
number
yeah, go
four,
ahead.
I'm like, let's like make it look a string.
Morgan just
Morgan.
started her
Oh,
channel. Her channel name
yeah,
is
I saw.
Lovely Reading, and Morgan just started her channel too, and she reads a lot of fun books.
Yeah, I saw your guys' collab announcement, and so I went and checked out her channel. So I'm like, yep, I subscribed to Morgan's channel. So
Oh, yay!
more book friends, booktube friends. Love it.
Well, we picked a new date for the second one, right?
Yeah, the second one we have.
February 26th? Was it the 20th? It's a
Mm,
Sunday. I forget
let
the
me
day
check.
now.
Why did I not put it in my calendar already? I must have like thought I did. So let me go
It's
back
the
to our
20,
conversation.
it's the 26th. I didn't put it in mine either,
26.
but I knew it was the last one, the last weekend.
That's true. All right, I'll take your word for it. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, that rhyme that makes sense because my husband's birthday is on the 19th,
Okay.
the Sunday before, so that tracks. Same time, I think same time as now too, I think, right? 9 p.m. to,
Yeah.
or I guess we
And
can.
I will probably obsessively take notes again.
Like,
Like,
oh,
I don't know if you could see this. Like, I took so many notes. Can you see how many? Can you see how many notes I took? Oh my God. Look at that scroll bar.
power to. I feel so inadequate.
This is like my obsessive, like note taking side coming out. I'm like a list maker and a note taker. Like, I have to do it.
Why does that sound like that would rhyme with something? I'm a list taker, the note taker, and it's
It's
I'm a
probably
little
a
loopy
song
now.
somewhere.
There's probably a song or rhyme somewhere,
Yeah.
TikTok sound or something. I don't know.
Anyways, I'm having fun with this.
This is fun. I mean, I was like, well, this is my first time doing any sort of live with collaboration or just joining somebody's live. So I was like, well, why don't I just do it myself and ask somebody? I'm like, April seems cool. Let's see if she wants to join. She's new to BookTube too. I'm like, well, just newbies just trying to jump in with both feet. Let's just do
Yeah,
this.
yeah. The newbie book discussion. I love. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for like
Yes.
letting me co-host this with you.
Yeah,
I love
definitely.
it.
Well, and I think what is next one's going to be on your channel, I think, right?
Yeah, the
Will
next
be
one will
on
be
your
on my
channel.
channel. Yep.
Hmm. Well, thank you
Yay.
for saying. Well, thank you for saying yes. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's they say just do it. I'm like, okay. I just asked somebody. I'm like, okay. Like, what else are they gonna say? No. I'm like, okay.
I was like, oh, somebody wants to do something with me.
I'm like, I know. Like, yeah, okay. So, so yeah. If anybody book, and I guess if anybody on here on BookTube too as well that has a channel and wants to hop on for a discussion, I'm like, we can have. I think we can add guests on here. So I'm like, I mean, more the merrier. I think we can add up to like 6 people in total. So 4 more people if they wanted to. So
Yeah. So if anybody here, Morgan, or anyone else,
mink,
um,
mink.
wants to hop on with us on the next one or any of them, feel free to DM us. Like I'll answer anything.
I'll see if I can't get like a sign up sheet that we can post a link in our description boxes, or like a form or something that we can share on Google Drive or something.
Oh, that's
Um,
smart.
some sort of thing, because I'm sure people are just like, oh yeah, I forgot to do that, but I saw someone do that, and I'm like, that's ingenious, and
That's so smart and organized. And I'm just over here like, hey, shoot me a DM.
hey, no, you're organized. You got the notes.
I do.
I'll do I'll do the other.
You have this list and I have the notes. See? Perfect pair.
Right. It's a match made in heaven. What can I say?
All right. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Um, that was a it was an okay start for me. So I think I'm interested in Anthony's novel because he seems like a character or a male character, main character. Well, I can't speak, main character that I would like. So I'm interested in the next one. I don't remember reading this one, but it's gonna be interesting. But this is exciting to kind of just do a whole series once a month.
Yeah, I'm so bad at finishing series. So this actually makes me like holds me accountable to finish a series.
That's funny. Yeah, I have to finish. I'm like one of those. I'm like, if I like the series, I'm like, I have to finish the series.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of crazy that some series I haven't gone and moved on to the next one yet. So I'm like, who am I?
I always end up putting the last book off forever because I just don't want it to end yet. So I'm just like, I will like put that one off forever.
That is me with Glow right now from Raven Kennedy, the
Oh yeah,
Gilded Series. And I
yes.
loved it. I definitely loved it, but I'm like, I also know that there's going to be another book, I think.
Gold or
And
something,
it
right?
is, yeah, and it hasn't released yet. So I'm like, I gotta wait a little longer.
All right.
All right.
Well, this was fun. Thank you.
Oh yeah, it was. Well, thanks for joining.
Yeah.
And and if those for watching, I'm pretty sure that this will also be saved as a video and a live, so you should be able to watch it and watch it back and replay if you weren't able to join.
Awesome.
All right.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
see you later.
Ta ta for now.
Bye.
Bye.